Hi, my name is Krishnan Doyle from COREcruitment. We do a lot of non-exec recruitment at Core, and we get asked a lot about what types of non-execs we recruit for, what people need to be a non-exec, and how people can get into being non-execs. So we've recorded this little video just to give you a little bit of a snapshot about what a non-exec does, how you should get into it, and what kind of skill sets people actually recruit for. Just as a little bit of a recap, COREcruitment is an international recruitment company. We've got an office in London and we've got 7 other international offices. I'll save you the full spiel. And we operate across a number of different markets as well within that sector. It's leisure, hospitality, guest services, property, all related to customer service in terms of all of the things that we cover. Now, for us, NEDs fall into kind of perhaps 3 different baskets. There's always different changes and anomalies to this, but if you think about it in 3 different baskets, it's probably the easiest way to run through this. So basket number 1 is more your traditional NEDs who might work for FTSE 250 companies or FTSE 100 companies. And it's more of kind of like, people who've been company managing directors, larger corporate kind of backgrounds, and they're more about governance, and they are those styles of positions. Now, normally for those types of roles, you need to have been a managing director, a CFO, a marketing director within a large corporate organization, and that's the type of skill set that they are looking to input when you go for that type of role. Traditionally, salaries in that area that we normally see are somewhere between 50 and 100,000 pounds, depending upon the level of the position, the company that's being recruited for, and the time commitment which is actually involved with those as well. They do come up reasonably often, and at the moment there is a big call for diversity and inclusion in terms of like getting people from minority groups, LGBT community, and also females into those types of roles. So those specifically are areas where people are looking for at the moment. The middle basket for us would be around mid-sized companies. So this might be an organization which turns over 50 to 100 million pounds and maybe needs the skill set or the strategy of somebody who is a 400k level chief marketing officer to come into their business, but they don't want to pay £400,000 to have that person in the business all the time. And this is a perfect development opportunity for a CMO who's working within a larger organization. And they might come into a business 2 days a month to advise on strategy, to advise on process, but not actually to do the day-to-day implementation within the business. And we've seen this to be a really growing area, and it's a fantastic development opportunity for somebody who is the CMO or property director or HR director to be able to step out of their large company and then look at a smaller organization and how that operates as a development tool. We've increasingly seen sector specialists within those kind of areas, i.e. HR, marketing, finance, technology specifically, being in demand, and actually as part of their own internal development programs being challenged to go out and find non-exec opportunities within small to mid-sized organizations. And it's a great retention tool as well at senior level in order to let people kind of buy in as well. The third pot for us is probably the most popular pot, which is the entrepreneur pot. And this might be an individual who is looking at growing and scaling their business, is looking at developing a concept, and maybe somebody who's looking at expanding internationally. And this is kind of like a really interesting pot for us because a lot of the time they don't need proven NED experience. A lot of the time they want real-time experience. So for example, if you're the managing director of a company and you've negotiated your way through the pandemic, firstly, congratulations, but secondly, your skill set might be in a lot of demand for other entrepreneurs who are running smaller businesses and are almost kind of on the next step up to get to where you are. So sometimes these businesses may only have 1 site, some may have 3 sites, some may have 5 sites. The entrepreneur group, probably out of the 3, are probably the most time intensive and are oddly probably the least financially remunerated as well. So most of the time we advise our clients that it's probably around about 20 to 25,000 pounds per day per year that you would want to pay that NED. So for example, if they were in your business 2 days a month, that would be an annual fee of £50,000. Now, the majority of NEDs will actually want to reinvest that money into your business so that when you have your equity event or your sale event, they would actually benefit from that as well. And that's a really healthy thing between the entrepreneur and the NEDs to actually come in. Sometimes entrepreneurs have multiple NEDs depending on what their needs are, and also if they've taken somebody on, like maybe a marketing NED as a specialist, or if they're doing some international expansion, they might want somebody who's done lots of international markets as well. But a lot of the conversations are just the day-to-day. Somebody's resigned, something's happened at a site, we're having a challenge with a landlord, something's happened, and a lot of management and a lot of mentoring, and people really need that at the moment, especially coming through the pandemic. So it's a great skill set to be able to share. A lot of the time, in terms of what we look for in those entrepreneur NEDs, are people who have actually founded, built, and developed their own businesses, especially if they have been successful businesses, but also people who have maybe had a business which maybe hasn't gone so well. Then there are lessons that that individual has probably learned that would be very valuable to entrepreneurs. So if it is something that you're interested in getting involved with, then don't just feel discounted if you've had a business which maybe hasn't gone 100% according to plan, because there's still really valuable lessons involved with that as well. The other thing that we find as well is the culture fit between the non-exec and the entrepreneur is very, very, very important. And what we've even seen is that some business founders have then wanted to find NEDs for their managing directors to develop their skills in areas where they're not proficient. So for example, if it's building a business and the entrepreneur's never had a business which has had more than 10 sites and the managing director has been homegrown, then perhaps taking somebody who's done a 50 or 100 site business and can tell them what they're going to be looking out for and what challenges they're going to face is actually a really beneficial thing for the business. So it's all about that sounding board, and the investment in terms of time and money probably isn't as much as what you're going to get back in terms of the reward side of things. Now, if you are interested in applying, or if you're interested in becoming a NED, absolutely more than happy to have a conversation with you about it. There's no limit in terms of age, gender, business experience. We're really happy to hear from people from a whole kind of like host of different backgrounds. But I guess it would be really it would make our lives easier if you could perhaps identify what your specialist skill set would be. So is it business scaling? Is it mentoring? Is it marketing? Is it building subscription services? Is it finance and gaining funding? So that you kind of have a specialism that you can bring to these companies who are perhaps looking for NEDs. That's something to maybe think about. There's lots of details on this on our website, www.corecruitment.com, and we have got an executive search part of our website which does detail a lot of the NED roles that we are recruiting for at any one time. So if you want to get in touch, then please get in touch via that portal, or with me on Krishnan at COREcruitment.com. Thank you very much. Bye.